Hello, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a great day the other day. We're gonna jump right into it, but first, we are just waking up. At least for me over here, it's still 5 o'clock. I still have to wake up at about 4 or something just to get my coffee ready and going. So, whatever you're drinking, I hope you're enjoying it because for me today, it's coffee. Whether you like matcha, chai, frappuccinos, or whatever gets you going in the morning, I hope you pick the good stuff because when you wake up early, you kind of need the good stuff. Today is FOMC, so for people who are trading prop firms and stuff like that, they may have news restrictions on there. You want to look into the frequently asked questions or the Q&A stuff because they'll take back your trades if they don't allow news trading. It's a fun fact. Sometimes some brokers will increase their margin requirement during those high news events. Usually it's by like $100 or $50 or so. So nothing crazy, but something to consider when you're as these big news events come along. Today is heavily expected to be possibly just him getting in the house and speaking and just talking about maybe probably a very slant on no rate cuts whatsoever. Who knows? It could be another nothing burger, but because we haven't really seen much of him, we don't know. We don't know what he's going to be. We do know that his stance, right, is going to, not being aggressive on cutting rates too much, but also, he may be a little more pushy towards rate cuts, or sorry, rate hikes than anything. I know Mo was talking about it before, is that he's a very stable guy. So we'll see. Mo was there when he was working with one of the other fellows way, 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 way back when. So I can't remember who he learned under again, but now it's just going to be a play in the game. With that being said, you're going to see a lot of sideways action in the market today, a lot of volatility, a lot of pops, a lot of pop ups, a lot of pop downs, and I'm going to try and stay away from that. I'm only going to trade when I see a pattern or when I see something popping up. And that's how we're going to capitalize on this today. So when I set up my charts, there could be a breakout, but just know any words from that, and that breakout means nothing. So that's my highest win is my breakout patterns. But if we have some crazy random news, yeah, no strategy works. You know what strategy works is the news strategy. The news strategy is what works. I also bought a couple eval accounts on a prop firm because I got another payout. So I'm kind of yeeting a couple of these evals. I never recommend that, but I don't like to stay in the eval phase. Personally, I don't like to stay in the eval phase too long. If I can just follow my strategy, then I'm okay with it. And, it works out for me. Most of the time, I tell folks, and you should, especially in the beginning until you get, confident and in your ways, to settle into a strategy, take your time on doing stuff like that or growing an account in general. So that's the overall goal with those kind of accounts. But, like I said, if you build them up and you pass them, I mean, you only had to pay like $50 or $100 or $150, and now you have access to all that capital, and you can take a payout if you need it. So let's take a look at the charts this morning, and we're going to talk. I know it sounds lame, but we're going to talk about the bond yields because I do love bond yields. And something to think about is we had the rate hike in Japan, right? And And if I remember correctly, yeah, okay. The crazy thing is that the ECB, which is the European Central Bank, has also increased, yeah, has also increased their interest rate. If I look here, let me double check this. Yeah, they raised it by a quarter point. So that's what's crazy. You have these interest rate hikes, and it's the same thing across the board, right? We got investors all over the world, and when I'll pop this up. Right here, European Central Bank. We had the interest rate hike that they've never done since before the Iran war. I think they said 2023 at least in this one, right? So they went up a quarter of a percent. Okay, Japan went up a quarter of a percent. Those are pretty huge. So the European area, that's pretty huge. So they're getting hit with an interest rate hike. You're also getting the Japan area hit with an interest rate hike. Those are pretty large markets. And with that being said, something to take into consideration is it's the same thing like being in America, and we're getting those interest rate hikes. So it affects their currency. It also affects the consumer sentiment towards like things like indices, gold, crypto. And when we see those hikes, it's stronger for their currency, but it's weaker on all the other stuff like indices, gold, crypto. Now, you're not going to see a huge pop or a huge move and like, oh, this is just going to tank because of that. But it does weigh on factors for folks like us, especially us retail folks. And for bankers and banks, they want to invest in something else that has higher yields. So, the dollar, for example, will have the same effect. If we get a rate hike, it's going to strengthen the dollar. We're going to see a drop in our, in our cryptos and golds, and it doesn't matter because fundamentally, that's what we have in our bank. That's what is going on in our world. But if we see the vice versa and they come out dovish and they do, which I really highly doubt because the probabilities. There we go. I pull up this. Yeah. For today. There's going to be no change today. That's my guess. And that's what we got on the watch tool here. But it's really important to know those things because now it's really important to know those things. Sorry, I'm still waking up. It's really important to know those things because you'll get, it'll help you with the overall picture when you're trading, if you're trading Forex, if you're trading other currencies to focus in on. I keep bouncing back and forth. Oh, I got to get out of this trade. This nonsense. So I'm kind of yeeting some accounts here. We'll come back. But right now, this morning, for the FOMC, the CME group, right, for the Fed Watch tool, the probabilities for today is that we're going to have no change. If you can see that, we're at 99% today. Is going to be a nothing burger kind of day. So that'll be a good thing because everything will just kind of stay intact. Everything will just stay sideways. So then from there, it's just following the rest of the world and other people's sentiment. Oh, Angel. Yeah, no. No, that's not a buy signal, my friend. Definitely not a buy signal yet. But We are going to see what happens today. We could have a decline if we have any hint of rate hikes, right? Because people love to go off of that. People love to go off of the news and what Warsh is going to have to say today. If he says anything remotely hawkish and the possibility of a rate hike in the future, that could start putting bad sentiment on indices and gold, crypto, things like that. So we'll have a push down. We will have now. I don't think it'll be long term because it'll be a while until the next FOMC, but we will see a push. Just because everybody is thinking, oh hey, he's gonna hike rates, so I want to get in before he has that time to actually change the rates. So fun stuff. Fun stuff. So there's a little morning lesson for you on that one. We did just have a news release today. This one's before the rate hike. Let's pop in over here. So if we come over to our calendar in the bottom right hand corner, right, we have more data that they look at. I'm pretty sure they didn't look at this data today. They probably looked at it, but they're not like jumping in on it for joy, because I would assume they have everything in order for the meeting today. And if they were smart, they would probably take this into consideration, but they may have everything already decided for today. They're just waiting to release the results. This morning right here, we've had this high news stuff, which is the building permit release and housing starts. It's just approval for jurisdictions before construction. So it's, people are building. So if we're getting that stuff coming up and it's going up, then there's more builders coming out. Looks like we're down. So from prior was 0.423, now it's 4.1, and we're down on housing starts. So that could be another indication that we have a slowdown in the market, not the stock market and stuff like that, but the consumer market, because now less people are building homes because the demand is less for homes. So it could have a change from hawkish to dovish to provide more relief on consumers. All right, so here's what I'm looking at. Right, this is gold. If I come to my 1 hour chart, we have this pennant here, this little flag from that pop-up the other day. So I am going to adjust this because, like I said, charts are dynamic. Everything is dynamic. Last night, I sent out to all the folks in our Discord some cool stuff, right? If you popped over, and it hit last night. That was great. So if you're in our Discord, that's great. If you're not, you should join if you want. You can see it in my YouTube links, but I'll just show you. For our folks here, I sent it out last night. I was looking at gold for 1 to 2, and I got a partial take profit, and I'll show you on the other one. But the big one was MES, and my exit was 7611. Played that last night, and beautifully played out. So if you followed me on, maybe on that one, or you did your own thing close to it, I hope it worked out for you. Thank you guys who participated in the hold. The day before was pretty funny when we traded Asian session, because it was just up and down, up and down. It was the choppiest session that I've been in a long time. I was like, there's no way that this is going to happen, but it did. So much chop, and for no reason whatsoever. So, all right, so here's what we're looking at. I talked about it last night. We're in this pennant flag right here. You can see it. And the Bollinger Band, to confirm it even more, we have the Bollinger Band tightening around this flag here. which makes me more confident that this is an accurate pattern. It's not always the case, it's not always indicative of that, but it's something great to see. Gives you more confirmation. Hang on, let me throw this back over so I can see what you guys are chatting about. Missed it. I was getting my beauty sleep. Yeah, we have that baby, so I'm up every so many hours in a row. I don't really worry about like what is sleep at this point. The hardest thing, right? If you watch the psychology lesson that I put out, if you're in our earner tier, folks, if you're in the Discord, is that plays a factor. That lack of sleep plays a huge factor on your trading ability and your trading skills. So it's creating that environment around you, right? You want to create a good environment around you before you go into this workspace. It's not like work where I could, shoot, I'm only got 3 hours of sleep. I can go do this. I can go be a doctor. I can go be a gas pump guy. I could go make burgers. I could go fight fires. I could do all that on that amount of sleep. Like, right? We are very willful human beings. We're very strong. But when it comes to trading, it's very different. You start to lose your emotions a little bit because this is new to you. This is a new high stress environment that you're having to risk money and try and make money at the same time. And when you add that in, something new to your brain that's already tired, honestly, sometimes emotions from either like childhood or just things that you already have always had a problem with, but you're good at like pushing it down and keeping it in check in all other aspects of life, can come out in the charts. So it's a good thing. Good thing to get sleep. Always a good thing to get sleep. I don't sleep a lot because of the baby, but because of work, I'm always popping up and down for calls throughout the night when I am working. And so I get pretty used to lack of sleep. So, especially for the last 10 years. Okay, so back to the nonsense of the chart. So just what I'm looking at here, I have that pennant flag. We're on the 1 hour. Pop up, pop down, pop up, down. We're just sitting in this, right? This is a flag pattern. Conveniently, we have the Bollinger Band tightening around this pattern. The other thing I love about this is it's always right around a big major news event that's going to happen. So if you think about it, this could be the opportunity that we get the FOMC news and this breaks out in that direction that we'd want. So that's what I do like about putting together the technicals and the fundamentals is you can get these as a resultant. Now, where would I be looking today? For the quick mode, so this is that 1-to-1 we took last night. We had that pop up and we took that and got out there. I won't go over too much of those. It seems like we're having a lot of support here, but we're having a lot of resistance at this line here in the sand. There's a lot of resistance here. So my anticipation for today is a breakout. I'm going to wait for the best possible setup. I'm not going to trade within and scalp within this. So I'm going to wait until we get a pop out in one direction, wait for that retest, and send her. If you wanted to try and scalp the inside of this, you could. I would do low, very, very low risk at this point in time because now we would be chasing this trade, right? We would be definitely chasing this trade, and we know there's prior resistance within a couple points here because we've had sellers step in here. We've had sellers step in here. We've had sellers step in here and previous consolidation and seller pressure here. So that's why I put that trend line there. It's an area of resistance for buyers. So you could wait until it breaks out, comes back up, but we're getting so tight on the major pattern itself that's when I would take a trade, is when we have a breakout in either direction. So mark that, mark that on your chart, put an alert in. That's how you get it done, so that when you want to take that trade, if you're looking at it, you're looking outside these zones, and that's where I'm looking today. So if you need me to put a number in it, a line, whatever, I got 4,358 right here. This would be a zone that we pop out of, just because it takes time to get there. And then the bottom is obviously about 3,043. And I give it some lee room here, because it's going to take some time for it to come back down, and it could be closer to that range. All right. So now let's look at the indices real quick. We'll look at MES. And we'll see where we're at. We've had a lot of support down here at the 5,600 mark, but we're in the same type situation here. You can see that this is support. This is prior support down over here. This is prior support over here and here and here. But, if you're following the EMAs, we did have a crossing. But last night, right, I took that trade when we were below the EMAs, and we reversed up, because I'm following support and resistance along with it. And the overall trend, if we go to the 1 hour, is still bullish, right? I mean, the 50 is over the 200. So as this is an area of support here, this will be my zones. Right around the 7,583 is a support zone, and anything above 7,632, which I believe was the high. Yeah, that was the high. That will be the way out. If we get a pop there, above that zone, which I'm setting my alerts, then we'll have a nice run out and up. And same thing, Bollinger Band is starting to tighten within this zone. So that also helps you indicate, like, okay, maybe this is an actual zone. This is what we're looking at. This is great. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So if I look at the 5 minute, we did have that pop on the 1 hour, and this I am going to take this trade though. And it's not financial advice. This is just for giggles and fun and whatnot. There we go. And the reason being is we had, look at that nice candle here. Nice candle with a reversal. Push up, some retest. And we had some more push up here. So I'm going to see at least some. The best entry would have been right here. And I could see some reverse, but that is whatever. This is just a scalp at this point. My previous swing that I'd be going for is this zone up here, which is about 7,060. 7,608, 7,607 range. So, or a breaking of the Bollinger Band. That's usually what I shoot for. Is if those break, I know there's going to be some reversal. I'd rather get out, take profit than not. But if you look here, we have a push up, and we have volume with it on the RSI here. Push, 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 push. On top of that, if you're following the bread recipe, right? EMAs are crossing, so we got things pushing up. Another factor added in there, right? We're compounding the things. We don't need to know all the technicals, but right now, you don't need to know everything perfectly, but getting those things compounded help with your edge. They help with the understanding of the market and give you higher probabilities for better trades. So I am going to take this one. So this one will probably go to Bollinger Band breaking. And with that said, let's see. Yeah, it won't be too bad. So I got some micros in there. And I'm just trading micros right now, and this is on ES. But overall, right, for the big picture, I'm looking at breakouts below the 7,582 and above the 7,634. There's my big zones for the breakouts. Like I said, this is the double top I was talking about last night. This looks weird. And we had a push down after it hit that, like, comes up, pushes down. Let me actually get rid of some stuff here so you can see it. Comes up, pushes down, comes up, pushes down. Then we come up back to the neckline, which this is the neckline on the, right? This is the neckline on the double top, and it pushed down. But here's the problem. This is why I didn't take that short, and I was actually long before it, is that was not an engulfing candle of that one, and the volume was not significant whatsoever. So it makes me think, I know it's an Asian session. I get that. It's not New York session. But the volume on a pop like that, if you want to like confirm that that is going to be what it is, a double top, you should have more volume involved with that. And there wasn't. And the candle closure indicates that too. It was subpar. That could be the difference between you making or catching a pattern or catching a mistake. So you got to put all those things together, find your rules, and that'll help you out there. So that's what I'm looking at today. I'm just looking at those two. I've already met my max deductible. I've already met my max deductible for my other accounts today. So those are all great and good today. I am in it to win it. So if you pop it up, I'll show you. So like today, I'm already up 2.6 and I haven't lost a trade besides the last two that you guys saw. But remember I said anything in my trade journal is my personal account or like funded accounts, like funded prop firm accounts. I really do not put evals in there because those are a different trading strategy and definitely irrelevant. I use a lot of risk during those, and that's because I have a different risk appetite than other folks. So yeah, we're up for the day. I think those were from last night. That was the ES trade. Yeah, that was the ES trade last night. We all made seven little bones on that. So I know everybody was getting sleep. I throw them out there. All right. So that's what I got for you guys today. I'll let you guys bounce around, go have fun, go chase some trends and go do your thing. I'm going to just be sticking around trading these couple things today. Outside of that, have a great morning. If you got to go to work, enjoy work. Sorry there was no pinpointed like, hey, here's this, you should take this. I'm going to give you zones because there's truly, if you want the best probability of results, you want to wait till those zones are hit. So put an indicator, right? Put something there to alert you, to let you know. I know it sucks to do it in the middle of the day, but that's going to give you the best probability of success. Now, if you're in the Earner Plus tier, don't worry, I'll send out some stuff, and you know. So appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.